Chinese President Xi Jinping has returned to the national capital. He wrapped up his visit to South Africa on Saturday after the conclusion of the summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, or FOCAC, in Johannesburg. Xi Jinping and his wife, Peng Liyuan, were seen off at the airport by the South African Foreign Minister and other officials. Over the past week, Xi Jinping also attended the UN Climate Change Conference in Paris. He then travelled to Africa for state visits to Zimbabwe and South Africa. There have been no lack of highlights at this year's FOCAC Forum, from an elevation of partnership between China and Africa to a $60 billion development fund pledged by China. Wu Haojun takes up the story.
Leaders of the world's biggest developing economy and the fastest growing continent brought together to hash out visionary plans and set the tone for the future of China-Africa cooperation. On the table, $60 billion of development assistance and a 10-point plan to chart the future course of partnership. Chinese President Xi Jinping brought with him the Chinese will and means to cooperate with Africa.
We have made an overall plan for developing China-Africa relations and a practical cooperation across the board. We have elevated China-Africa relations and drawn a new blueprint for China-Africa cooperation.
Besides the $60 billion in funding, which covers areas from interest-free loans to a China-Africa Production Capacity Cooperation Fund, China also pledged to help train 200,000 African technicians in Africa and another 40,000 here in China. The message is clear. China is committed to a sustainable and equal partnership with Africa, and African leaders welcome it.
It clearly illustrates China's commitment to ensure that China's development takes place in conjunction with the developing countries of the South, particularly those in Africa.
Chinese and African cooperation has grown and evolved over the past decade in terms of quantity and quality. China became the continent's biggest trading partner in 2009, and now cooperation covers areas from infrastructure and energy to tourism. A new chapter of relations, as leaders of both sides say, has taken off. Wu Haojun, CCTV.